So I have to make this video because a lot of this stuff is hitting closer and closer to home. Now, out there, a lot of businesses and a lot of companies are, basically putting up this message of support and, whatever for minorities. And I see a lot of people talking. There's a lot of conversation. Now, regardless of however I, try to frame this video, it might be misconstrued. And Gamey Daddy was designed to actually cover video games. So anything political or sociological, ideological, I have decided, very consciously actually, to put aside from this channel. But it seems like, somehow it's, being brought into the gaming world. And I wanted to point out a few things. And Massive canceled the state of the game today. And the reason they said they canceled the state of the game is because they wanted other voices to be heard. Now, I can respect that they canceled state of the game just to honor all what's going on. That's not a problem with me. I have no issues. It's not like the state of the game would have been exciting and fun or something. I mean, in fact, it did everybody a favor that we didn't come sit in a state of the game where people laughed around and, there's still issues in the game that needs to be solved. That's just the honest truth about it. But what I'm about to say is coming from a place of love. It's not coming from a place of disdain. It's not coming from a place of mockery or belittling anybody's efforts to be respectful. I don't think that's, where this is coming from. And if there's anybody that would say this, I think I'm in a place where I am happy to say it because I like Massive Entertainment Studios. I like Ubisoft. This is a known fact. I am biased towards them, even to the point where people call me a shill. And I laugh and I'm like, I'm not shilling, I'm just a fan. It's okay to be a fan of of a company that's making games. Yes, they have extremely big flaws because they seem to not understand their gamers. And I think they also, whoever is on the PR side of this, and this is not to the developers are individuals that have their own personal opinions about all this stuff. But it seems to the PR driven aspect of this, they may also have a few misunderstandings. So I've been seeing a lot of these companies, Square Enix saying, oh, we want voices to be heard. And then they almost always follow it up. We have donated so and so amount of money to this. To me, I see that as virtue signaling. And I'll tell you why. The virtue signaling part comes from the aspect where a lot of these companies seem to be following this now that there is a lot more noise going on around it, a lot more awareness going around it. And regardless of your political affiliation, that's not basically the point. But it seems like a lot of these companies are actually preaching what they can't practice. I've even seen some people say, we accept everybody, and if you are different, you're set away, and we don't want you here. We don't want you doing this. Now, Ubisoft didn't go that far, Massive didn't go that far. But I think they will be better served by listening to what is going on rather than telling everyone that they're listening to what's going on. This is a big distinction. I see a lot of people even saying, I've donated to this fund, I've donated to that fund. What, you want a pat on the back for doing something good? Aren't you supposed to just do something good regardless of anybody telling you to or not? And then even to Massive Ubisoft, I have a question for you. If you really, feel this way as a corporation, I have to ask you, what have your actions shown in the past 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, 24 months, 36 months to actually support and hear minority voices? Let's use a case study. The Division 2, one of the most diverse communities that I've ever seen in gaming. Look at the landscape. Look at the landscape of people who actually make content and play this game. What has the community really done to actually showcase the amount of diversity that is represented in their games community? Do you know how many of different ethnicities, different persuasions that are represented in this community? It's ridiculous. Now go look at any other RPG looter shooter community and try to match that and see if there's any that is as diverse as the Division 2's community. Go do the math. Go do the homework. And so if they're not going to be talking about these issues, or if they're not going to be looking at the fundamental ways to bring up minority communities more often, I'm not saying they have to do it 365, 7 days a week, but instead are doing it in a time where there's a lot of social discussion coming up and they tell everybody that they're doing it at that time, then to me, it's a PR stunt and it's virtue signaling. And I don't want Massive to fall into that trap. If Sony, who made this, and I'm a PlayStation fan, I'm in the PlayStation camp, there's no discussing it, okay? In fact, I spent extra money buying another Sony product so I could use my PlayStation controller on my PC. That's how much, and I still have the Xbox version of it, but I wanted the PlayStation one, even though it's actually an inferior product. That's how much of a PlayStation fan I am. But I saw them actually say, oh yeah, you know, we are this and we're that and we're doing this. And I'm like, what, Sony, what have you really done to encourage more diverse ethnicities in development teams across your studios? Have you gone out on a limb to do programs in the high schools, in the middle, in the low income areas, to actually encourage and create programs for young kids to be able to get a taste of what game development and programming could be, so that maybe you can usher in kids who have no opportunity to start looking at the possibility of them being game developers down the road? Have you done that? Have you fostered a relationship with a lot of members of these communities to try to even bring in more awareness? Because there are a lot of these kids, regardless of their race or regardless of their ethnic diversity, that are very intuitive. I know. My day job tells me that. And so when I see Square Enix and when I see all these companies doing this, I know they have good intentions. The problem is, good intentions is not going to solve the problem. Actions, they say, speak louder than words. So what I would encourage a lot of these corporations to do that serve gamers of all persuasions is to listen, and they will be able to hear the deeper issues and place a thumb on them and use the resources that they have to actually assist. This is the way we're going to see progress. Yes, however you want to put it, there is unfairness in the world. My heart breaks being a black man in America, having black children, and knowing that there are uncertainties for them. But at the same time, if anybody wants to do anything to help, they just need to help and not announce that they're helping. And they need to be consistent when they do it. Because I'm telling you, Ubisoft as a studio, you guys are always promoting how you love diversity. You're throwing it in our faces every day. But yet you have diverse audiences, you have diverse opportunities that you can get into, but you don't invest in those opportunities. Discernment in your audience tells us that it doesn't seem like you have much of an interest in affecting these communities positively, other than just a virtue signal. This is one of those videos that I hate to make, but as a fan, I gotta call it the way I see it. It doesn't, in my opinion, seem like it's genuine. If it's genuine, we'll be seeing the actions of it from today henceforth. I'm not saying that you need to shut down all of what you're doing. I'm saying you probably need to be consistent and show the evidence and not just tweet about it. Oh my gosh, Twitter. A lot of non-white people getting mad at black people for not agreeing with their own stance on black issues. Scratching my head. Regardless of how you want to translate that, that tells you that we need to listen more than anything. Because yes, I'm not saying everybody understands the issues. It means if you don't understand the issues, then you need to listen before you speak. And trust me, you ain't going to understand all the issues in 1 week or 1 day or 1 month. It will take a conscious effort to constantly study and see historically and even the potential future ramifications how the issues are playing out. It takes a while. But while you're listening, you got to be doing. Not talking nor posting about it on social media. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. Not in my opinion, nonetheless. Talk is cheap. Walk the walk.